Hi Sagittarius, welcome to your 2022 New Year reading. Surprise! I've been working on it for a few days now. So let's take a look at the Year of the Tiger and what happens for you, what you should focus on, and really what the rest of February and mid-March look like, but with a real focus on the rest of the year. Okay, so we're off to a roaring start. Let's stop here for a second and talk. Now, the astrology tells us, and your Year of the Tiger forecast tells us, that it is a time where your habits and beliefs, especially when it comes to money, wherever that cross section is between money and wounds, that area, it has to be illuminated and problems have to be solved. And they will take quite some resources on your end. Yes, this is a different structure for the reading, but to be honest, Aquarius season is so not about anything except the information. I didn't really know how else to approach it, and I didn't actually know how to broach this particular subject, which is why the cards are such a sublime tool. First card out, Seven of Pentacles. Whether it's being part of a community or feeling at home within the parameters of your own company or creation, whether it's the identity you draw from a job where you've been earning for quite a few years, or a side project that you've been pouring money into, an investment perhaps that gives you big dreams for the future. Somehow, this thing that is tied to your identity and your money has come up against a very sharp truth. A very sharp truth is illuminated. And we're coming off of this Mercury-Pluto conjunction that ended yesterday, which is all about your wounds finally being able to speak instead of just feeling this abrasion between where your earnings and your method of earning meets your wounding. Instead of just this kind of useless pain, useless back and forth, perhaps you've been languishing in indecision, perhaps you have been crushed under the weight of insecurity, perhaps you have been physically crushed by something. But this feeling of being poked right where you are wounded, it has been so confusing and painful. And let me give you another reason why it's so odd. You're a very lucky sign. And you know what's interesting to me? If you look at the Gemini video, right, the sign across from you, you'll see that Geminis are actually going through a time right now where they got their mojo back after a very long time. And it's interesting that here you are, they've felt, I'm included, have felt really out of our element. Like, what happened to our luck? What happened to us? What the heck has been going on? And I think I have an answer for us and for you. See, we've been doing this pretty hard job for the past year or so. And we've finally been relieved of that. Now, I think the effect it had on Geminis was that they had to buckle up and be kind of adult for a while. And so now that we're let loose again, we feel free. For you, I think what you did was you put your own things basically to the side, and you really embraced this kind of nodal identity and spent the better part of a year and a half just doing for others and if not doing for others, planning with the mind of having others included and being able to benefit others. And I think what happened in the meantime is that your own wounds or issues or whatever you want to call it, your own, your thoughts that needed to be processed, your experiences that needed to be processed, and also perhaps, there were different things that should have been implemented. All of that kind of got pushed to the wayside because there was a job to do. And so now I think you're having to directly confront things that are very difficult to confront directly. I mean, your finances syncing up with your wounds, and giving you this kind of extreme tunnel vision into your past and making you understand even something like, how your identity has been built around your financial luck, how your romantic identity is built around this idea of, having this Jupiterian luck where things just kind of go your way and you're charmed and everyone knows it. You happen to attract a certain good luck into your life, right? So to have that more closely examined is a little bit uncomfortable. Like, what, do you want to put my luck under a microscope? Like, that's how it can feel, especially coming off of this Mercury-Pluto conjunction where, the magician is being asked some harsh questions by this sun. This sun wants answers. This sun is shedding a light on the tools you have on that table and saying, now you know where the wounding is, and now you know right where it's hitting your financial weaknesses. You can feel the burn. Now, what are you going to do about it? Now, let's take a look at this table and what you have on this table and figure out what to do next. The only issue with that being in the meantime, you're wrestling with having to find confidence in some other aspect of your identity. Now, that's very uncomfortable for you because the reason you can be so cool in romance, the reason you can be so cool, with everybody, the reason you look so cool is because you draw your confidence not from those areas. You don't feel confident because someone likes you or wants to sleep with you. Of course they do. You don't feel confident because, someone thinks you're pretty or someone thinks you're popular. Or you draw your confidence from the fact that you're very capable and very resourceful. So you don't need to go to all these other areas and kind of seek approval and validation, which then, of course, makes you really cool. But what happens when the place where you actually have drawn from, validation from it and do really live in this space, and this is where you get your most, let's say, potent boost. Not even an ego boost, really. It's quite healthy. But up until now, this has been, where you draw your strength. And to have that be examined and questioned, it's really, it hurts. It hurts a lot because it's hitting a place that your pride, you're so proud, it's very hard to talk to you about it. It's hard for you to talk to yourself about it. And now there is this cup that is being offered in the midst of all this, and it is very, very obvious that you can't see it. And I think I understand why. Let's get a little bit into what this year looks like for you from now until next February, God willing. For one, it's a number 7 year. It's a year where you win. It's a year where the more bright red you incorporate into your life, the better you will do. It's a year where your personal security grows. But that really has everything to do with you being able to see what's being put in front of you and letting go of whatever remorse you carry for what you thought it should look like. The cards are very clearly telling you, as does your astrology, that not only are your woundings, your money, and your romance all tied together, because it's, ostensibly where you draw your identity, but more than that, it's saying that there is another version of this romance, of this emotional fulfillment, of this life that you can still very much have, and it will make you very happy. But it just doesn't look enough like the cup you want, or the one, I guess, that you had at some point. And I hate to say it, because it's not like you're not going through enough, but it looks like you're missing it. Now, how's that possible? And you're like, oh my God, I'm already stressed out. Why are you telling me that? Well, hold on. First of all, this doesn't have to be right now. Look at this as the general themes for this year. When you're thinking about this personal security, when you're basically gathering the people who love you most around you to feed you power, okay? It's in that you will start to feel that you're a part of something, but you'll also in that start to feel where you're definitely not supposed to be and where you are definitely not a part of something. So, again, we have these extremes. Throughout this year, you find yourself looking around and saying, wow, I love being a part of this group. I love being a part of this family. I love being a part of this business, no matter how you feel right now. And then there are other places where the more you feel good in the spaces that accept you and want you, the more stark and obvious it becomes that there are places and spaces where you are just not valued. But more than that, there is an ambivalence towards you, a negativity. Well, it poses as neutrality, but it's not. And I'm not trying to rile you up. It's just once you really start to feel that love and security of a big group of people supporting you and wanting you to win, it just becomes so obvious who doesn't want you to win. So those unhealthy people, they may take a little bit of your power with them when they go. You may feel a little bit of a slowdown, perhaps, especially in your money when they go. But that decision holds with it, that risk holds with it such abundance, and perhaps even a road into something more fulfilling even than getting the bag. So, you will notice a dip. And some of you, luckily, are going through it right now, and you're not going to have to deal with it for the rest of the year. Great. After this dip, after this slowdown, which was most probably precipitated by some leaving of a group, leaving of a job leaving you, something where you're like, wow, you guys didn't value me at all anyway. This sucked, but now it sucks that it's not around because I still need the income, or I still need the validation, or I still need the security of this thing, or I still need to live here, whatever it is, right? I still need that connect. But in sacrificing for your happiness, but it's more than happiness, I'm searching for the word. There is a way that you relax when everyone in the room is someone you trust. Do you know what I mean by that? You're a different person in an environment where everyone is your people, right? You're still cool. You're cool when there's people there that you don't know. You're cool when there's people there that you do know. It's not that. It's something else. This year wants you to take your life to a place where you can be that person all the time, because the only people you're surrounding yourself with are people that you feel that way about. Now, let's really break that down and think about it. That means if you're in a work environment where you feel like you are not being respected, valued, etc., that's not a place for you, right? So one of the ways this manifests is people are going to start striking out, especially Sagittarius rising, and starting their own businesses, because they realize that the place that they work within, no matter how much financial loss they may incur in making this choice of choosing themselves, still with this risk comes so many more opportunities that you can't really even fathom right now. I mean, they're there if you just turned around and looked, but that's the nature of the Nine of Wands. You're not going to turn around and look, not yet. But that just makes this even more adorable. You're going to take the risk. Yes, I said adorable. You're going to take the risk anyway, based on your principles. And you know, that's a fun one. That's a fun one, because you guys are funny that way. You can be Capricorn, all about the details, all about the bottom line, or you can be super emotional and all about your principles, or you can be both. And the beautiful thing about this mutable fire is that over the course of a lifetime, you find a way to be both. And I think that, you know, 2022 really gives you a platform to shine in that very particular way, where you are able to take your raw power, strength, fire, and really mesh it with this, I don't want to use the word righteousness, but a morality, right? This belief in yourself, this belief in how you should be treated, this belief in how things should be. It really does dominate your thoughts, and more so, more importantly, your financial decisions throughout the year. So if you're in a position right now where you're going, I need this Sag reading because I don't know where my head is at. I don't know why I'm even thinking like this, but I keep thinking that maybe I should just go out on my own, or maybe I just need to. But I know that in the short term, that's the stupidest thing that I could do, but I can't get it out of my head. Well, I think what's happening here is that there is a destiny that is trying very hard to pull you, you know, towards something new and away from what used to be, and really like to yourself. To yourself. It's trying to, well, you know, you've had this setback somehow, financially, or in terms of maybe someone at your job shot you down. There's been some blow to the ego in terms of how you look at yourself and your capability, your productivity, your value, your earning power, all of that, right? And now you're going to go through this transformation where you realize, actually, no, it's not me, it's them. I'm going to take myself and I'm going to build myself back up, but I got to kind of go down to come back up. And when you come back up, you're really having taken this fool's journey. We all come back new. That's what the fool's journey is. And there you are, new, but improved. Improved because you have this moon now shining on you. Here you are again, but improved because you understand something even deeper about yourself now. The parts of you that have been a mystery, the part of you that compels you to buy things you shouldn't buy, the part of you that compels you to attach to people you shouldn't attach to, the self-destruction, it becomes something understood and something that no longer controls you in this subconscious, really powerful way where you can feel like you really don't have any control. You have no will against this thing. And why? Because right here, starting today, because the Mercury-Pluto conjunction is over today, you start to see the beginnings of that illumination. Because we're finally addressing now, hey, there's all this abrasion. Hey, there's, you know, I have these financial wounds. I have these romantic wounds. Why is there salt being poured into all these wounds? What is the point? And that salt, really being money. The money is being poured into you to see where it pours out. Where are these holes? And you're finding them. And as you find them and understand them, even if you're not able to completely, heal them, in the understanding and acknowledgement of them, there is such a profound change in you. And it's a change that really suits you. Strength just looks good on you. Confidence, all this, you're bouncing back on the trampoline. That's all that's going on. And I understand when you're on the, when you're still in mid-bounce and you don't know if you're going to bounce back up, what if you just fall through the middle of it? Yeah, I got you. That's not going to happen. Do not worry. That is not going to happen. You will bounce back. This is the most annoying thing in the world. I'm so sorry. You will bounce back, but much, much higher. See, these romantic, financial, self-esteem wounds, they make you so vulnerable. Every one of them is a huge gaping hole in your armor. So no matter how much this has hurt, no matter how scary it has been, be glad. Because this person, they don't have these holes. And that's the purpose of the year for you. It's a bright, attractive year. A lot is coming towards you. A lot wants to find this person fast. But it's mainly a solitary year. You're just growing and shining and growing and acknowledging and knowing more and knowing more. And it's nice to see, because oftentimes as a non-Sagittarian looking in, we do get a little bit frustrated. You're so smart. You're so good at putting it together. You're so good at the 2 + 2 actually equals 127. You just don't know how, And sometimes we get frustrated because we wish we could say to you, like, can you apply that insight to yourself? Can you connect the dots with yourself too? Because you're so good at connecting the dots with everything else. So for everyone else around you, this is a really joyous time. Even though you might not be having the best time right now, it's a joyous time for us because we're seeing that you're beginning to connect dots in your own life instead of connecting dots everywhere else around you and helping everyone, but really being blind to your own stuff. It's that blinders thing. But your blinders are like reverse blinders. You can see everybody else. It's just not yourself. And now to be able to see the self, I mean, there's no better representation than this. To be able to see the self, that makes one so powerful. A bit solitary for the most part, but also there are periods coming up pretty quickly where people can turn into more than that. An acquaintance, a friend, someone who really takes a genuine interest in this person who's gotten to know themselves a lot. Because the thing is, someone who's like this, very attractive. Not that we care. Not that that's what it's about. That's just a side effect of being happy and understanding yourself and creating a safe space for yourself where you can shine, let this light shine and acknowledge yourself and know yourself and have it be a great experience. That safe space, you're creating it for yourself ironically with your risky decisions and with choosing yourself. And just being really honest and brutal with yourself about where you are wanted and where you are appreciated and where you are not. I think you've gone back and forth for a long time, and wherever you have not been able to put your foot down, it was always because there was some lingering, deep-seated doubt of self and fear and inadequacy. But I don't know if you've noticed or not, but all this abrasion, all this fear, all this loss of work, loss of money, whatever else has been going on, I don't know if you're noticing, but it's really toughening you up. It's making you look to other aspects of your life and other ways to be resourceful, and you're beginning to remember that your value is much more than how many dollars you can make. And it was always more than that. Right? It's about this. Right? It's about that person right there. And that person is much more than the dollars and cents that they are able to create or earn. So no, it has not been the most pleasant experience to have that part of your identity kind of warped and ripped away and being reconfigured. And in the meantime, what are you supposed to stand on? Well, there's a lot you can stand on, and I think that's exactly what the universe wants to show you, is that these wounds can be healed and worked on, and you don't need to stand on them like a crutch. When you illuminate other parts of yourself and you get to know yourself better, one of the things you realize right away is that it doesn't fucking matter how much money you can make or not make. It's never been about that. And trust me, it's liberating. It's gonna feel great. Right now, you might not be able to imagine it. I get it, because you're really like going through it. No, I get it. And I also tell you what, if I had told you this a week ago, the way you guys are feeling, the amount of anxiety, the amount of panicking, this would just go right through you. Now, you feel where these wounds are. The salt is stinging. You see that these holes in your armor are not tenable. This cannot continue. They have to be patched up. Thank God for this stinging and the awareness that it has brought. And with the healing of your armor and the guts that it takes to get there, that's all you. That's all you. And this gorgeous awareness that it brings, the light that it shines from within you, the contentment, a safe space. You're beautiful when you feel safe. When you feel safe enough to actually put your bow and arrow down, you are gorgeous. It's just really hard for people to focus on your beauty when, you're trying to kill them. It's hard to tell like a bitch she's cute when she has a gun pointed at your head. Like, she might be really cute, but that's just not the issue in the moment. You know what I mean? But man, as soon as you put it down for a second because you feel good, because you feel safe, ooh, nobody can touch you. It's going to be great. Love you. I'll see you in the extended.